Morning, sweethearts. How y'all doing? I hope you're doing great. It's a little chilly here this morning, but it is a beautiful, beautiful morning. How are you handling the energies? They're intense. Some are going, hitting a high, and some are hitting a low right now. But it's beautiful. It really, truly is beautiful. Got a magic number today. 9 plus 7 is 16. 7, the hidden power is 7. So as you go and continue your meditations, which I thank you all for, and your intentions on Hurricane Irma, if you've noticed, she is starting to turn back out to sea, and I know there are many of us. Good morning, Jamie. How you doing, sweetheart? And there are, as our intentions continue, it is showing that we are that powerful. So let us continue to, there's some of us, and quite a few of us out there that are really holding that intention to turn Irma back out into the center of the Bermuda Triangle and have the Bermuda Triangle, if you will, swallow her up. And that intention is for Jose as well. So for those of you who are out there joining us in those intentions on this hurricane, maybe you would, if it resonates, would like to include in your intentions to have it go out into the center of the Bermuda Triangle, if you will, right off of Florida coast, and have it swallow it up with us. So the intentions are working, sweethearts, and I thank you. We're all very grateful for your assistance in that. In the fires of the Northwest. Good morning, Jenny, Betty, Karen. Big hugs and blessings, sweet ones. In the fires in the Northwest, let's just keep those intentions going. And I just seen an update on Montana, and my goodness, I seen a map of all the counties that are in flames, and just hold that intention, sweethearts, and know that something good will come out of all of this in a beautiful, beautiful rebirth and regeneration of the lands will come out of this. And that's really where we need to keep our focus and intent, if you will. This journey, as we step more and more into our identities of who we truly are, this journey has been one. And for those of you that are being intensely affected by these energies with circumstances presenting themselves, know that thank you, Michael. All of the journey, if you will, is one of divine authority, and you stepping into that decision-making authority that has really enslaved you to giving your decision-making away. And it's really helpful to understand and to observe this aspect of that, sweethearts. And that is where it's a belief that has been enslaved that, again, we all know the general aspect of putting others before ourselves. And that's been a journey of self-love. But let's take it a step further and really, right now, so many are in a space, and these energies are coming up to really show us that we have a tendency to, even though we want to convince ourselves we're putting ourselves first, if you will, we still have that tendency and that's really becoming present, of where it's just my way of thinking that, take care of others and I'll work around it, if you will. And that too is a self-sacrifice in a very prevalent energy right now that is coming up to be transmuted. And for us to be that conduit as these energies come up through the planet and being released, is to take back that decision-making authority from FEMA, from the government, from your education systems. And it's not to take it back in a rough, gruff manner, if you will. You know, we're warriors, but we are not warriors to fight war. We're warriors to promote peace. And so, as these energies come up, that's really going to test you, if you will, for lack of a better way of saying it, on your decision-making authorities. You're going to really find that this is really prevalent in your interpersonal family relationships, as where so much of your family has fallen away, did not agree with your choices, yada yada yada, if you will. You're really going to find that you are being presented with opportunities of now those old relationships where you did allow somebody else to make this decision, even as minute as, and this will resonate, I'm sure, with many of you. How many times have you asked what somebody, your family, wanted for dinner, and they said, oh, it doesn't matter, oh, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want is good with me. Whatever sounds. How many times did your spouse or a friend ask you to go out to dinner, or to go out to eat, or you guys wanted to stop by a fast food restaurant, and your husband or your wife asks you, you know, what do you want? Oh, you just order, honey, you know what I like. It's those minute little things where you're being presented to see, where you're still giving your power of decision making away. And when you can catch yourself in those tiny little things, because you know, we've worked on reprogramming and recalibrating, yada yada yada, the major theme of things. So now what's coming up is that in those intimate relationships, in those intimate ways of where those little minute ways where you still unconsciously, if you will, give that decision making process away. And so your journey has been a journey of authority, to become your own authority, if you will. And really that's what these energies now are really bringing up, those self-deceptions where you've convinced your mind has convinced yourself that, well, you know, it's a good thing to put other people, even if I have to sleep in a chair, you know, I'm going to give my comfort away. And it's those little things that are showing you where you're still putting yourself last, and you're actually doing yourself and them a disservice. And I just use that as an example, sweethearts. I'm just trying to come up with minute examples that we don't realize we're doing that. And so really allow yourselves to observe these, what's bringing up, so you can finish emptying your cups, if you will, because this really truly is a magical time. And as we continue to rise higher and evolve higher, as these light encoded filaments are coming in, you know, all light encoded filaments, again, I always tell you, I always say that darkness is just condensed light. Well, it's also lack of information, because light is information. And as this is bathing you, all these incoming light encoded filaments, you know, it's activating more and more your energy. All your chakras hold a 12 helix energy center. You know, there's some out there that really convince you to remove your chakras, and you, again, I encourage you all to go within on that. But really, you really don't want to do that, because each one of your chakras, whether it's the 7 lower or the 5 higher, each hold a 12 helix strand of DNA, if you will. And Valerie, you'll appreciate this from our conversation last week. And each one of those, when you have them fully activated, you activate a 12 within 12 within 12, you know. Each one holds different information of light encoded filaments that are being activated right now. And when you have each one of those 12 helix strands, if you will, and they all come together in a cord, they act like a fiber optic, if you will. And so really you're lighting up. The more you release, the more you transform, if you will. You're lighting up your fiber optic cables, and they're all coming into union into an iridescent, beautiful diamond light body. And so at any given moment, the higher in frequency you rise to, you will and can access and activate more and more information from those light as you continue to rise. Remember, there's 7 levels and layers in each frequency you rise to, and each frequency holds so many more light encoded filaments, hold so much more information centers, because each one of your chakras is an information center, and you activate different segments, if you will, higher aspects, if you will. And when you do that, the light encoded filaments that are coming in are bringing you much more information, and that's why it is so necessary to ground. So you can ground the information in. If you just allow yourself to be floaty and not ground that energy into the new grid, if you will, the new matrix grid, and you just keep allowing yourself to be floaty and this and that, you're allowing yourself to miss out on a whole bunch of information, because it'll come in, the clarity, the deeper truth will come in, but if you don't anchor it in, you're allowing it to dissipate back out, if you will. That's the same that goes with your gifts. These light encoded filaments, if you will, are activating certain gifts, whatever frequency and chakra center you're working out of. And if you do not anchor those gifts in by practicing them, by becoming aware of them and consistent use of them, they too will shut back down, if you will, for lack of a better way of describing it. And, once they're activated, you don't use it, it will be deactivated, just like your muscles. If you don't, or your creativity, if you don't, say you want to sing, if you don't consistently work at it, all the work you have put in is going to go back down, and you're going to have to redo it when you pick it up a year later, 10 years later, whatever it may be. Just like your muscles, you have to keep working at them to keep them toned and in shape. Otherwise, they go flabby, if you will. I hope that helped. Hold on, let me catch up, sweethearts. Good morning, sweethearts, whoever I missed. Big, big hugs and blessings. And thank you all again for your intentions on these devastating but necessary purging and cleansing of the earth. Valerie, accepting things we can change, but others will be affected, so we will just accept it and make it a different route or path, and that's what we are. We're transformers. You may send good waves to Trump. Trump is doing us a favor, whether it appears on the surface as that or not, sweethearts. He truly is. And again, validate anything I say within. Don't let the human aspect and beliefs of all this fear-mongering and, Trump is actually turning our government around. Valerie, that's how we've been taught, Rose, and that is why it felt bad. It felt bad because that was our higher being telling us we were going in the wrong direction. I'm glad you're better, Rose. Let's see. Floaty, yes, you're correct. It's best used when grounded. The words that you are speaking are true, but until others open their eyes, all we can do is pray for them. Loretta, that's right. But it's okay if they're not ready to open their eyes right now. Because again, everybody's on their own soul's journey, and that's where we need to not judge them and allow them to be. It's okay that they don't open their eyes. Can we pray for them? Sure, we can pray for them, and we can dance naked in the forest for them too. However, the best thing we can do is surround them with love and acceptance. Because we all go through that period of acceptance even when we were asleep and didn't have our eyes opened. And so the more we transform within when we run across those that are still asleep, it's okay, because we can go within and transform that energy, that they are awake, that they are still asleep, and we can plant those seeds of love and light through our hearts. And support them and hold space for them until they come into the activation on their soul's blueprint that will activate for them to come awake. And, sometimes we forget that on this journey, that, how many is out there saying, people need to wake up, people need to wake up, no, they don't. We need to honor the choices that their soul makes and that they will wake up when their soul has been contracted with them to wake up. It's not our job to wake anybody up. It's our job it's our mission, it's our purpose, whatever label you'd like to give it, sweethearts, to hold space for them and honor their choice and honor their contract before they incarnated, because their soul knows when they're supposed to be activated to wake up. And, we don't need to wake them up. We need to allow them to follow their soul choice to wake up when they're ready to wake up. And all we do is love them through it and hold space. And that's the beauty of us. In a higher frequency we go, we come to understand that too was a free will choice for their incarnation in this lifetime and part of their lessons. There's a lot of people, a lot of beings that have incarnated that will not ascend and awaken this time for a divine purpose. But yet so many in the spiritual and light worker community still judge them. No, you got to wake up. No, you got to wake up. And then, there's so many that are still asleep for their free will choice of their soul's learning. And that's where acceptance and honor really come in for those of us that are evolving, for those of us who have chosen to ascend. And we need to allow that to be okay. We need to honor them just as each of us want to be honored for our choices. And again, the human aspect sometimes forgets that. Clara says, Linda, can you explain timeline split? How can I identify them? How are they experienced? Do you have an example? Oh, Clara, you really want some wisdom this morning, don't you, beautiful? Timeline splits. Well, look at it like this, sweet ones. Every experience you have is a timeline. And every memory you have is happened in a timeline. Every dream you have in your dream time is a timeline. Sometimes you have 3 and 4 dreams in a timeline. And in your dream time, good, bad, or indifferent dreams, they're timelines. And not only are they giving you an option to choose to anchor, for lack of a better description, I don't like using good and bad and da-da-da-da-da, but we're going to have to for this. Put me in secure mode, please. Thank you. And you can choose to anchor the good ones in. Say you had a dream of being married to somebody and you want to experience that. You can bring that timeline down and anchor it in. And, those bad ones where you're having dreams that you're fighting aliens and little green guys and this and that, those are just memories. And those are what you're collapsing in your dream time. Now, let's take your experiences to the physical, if you will. So you're having an experience with someone from the past that has come back and has triggered wounds, if you will. Has triggered unworthiness, has triggered abandonment, rejection, hurt, has triggered sexual abuse, something along those lines, if you will. And how you react to them is whether or not you're going to collapse them or continue to experience them, if you will. And every experience you have here in the physical is giving you an opportunity to collapse a timeline or to anchor that timeline in. And that's why choice is so important, and the decision-making process, if you will, taking back your own decisions, Because as long as the outside world, the experiences which are past memories coming up to be collapsed of those timelines, if you will. When you react to them or attach new emotions to them, if you will, rather than detaching the emotions and observing what is being presented. When you react, and why we say it is so important to, some use the label discernment, I use it as decision making, if you will. You can allow the outside world to continue dictating your emotions and controlling you through your emotions by allowing the outside world to create you to react with new emotions to an old energy that is presenting itself. When you don't allow yourself to react and you observe it and you see the unseen behind it, if you will, and you change that energetic pattern, or what we all refer to as healing something within the inner child, when you change the energetic behavior pattern behind it and choose to react or in a different way or not react, react in a loving way rather than angry because they triggered a wound, if you will, you have collapsed that timeline and have now just created a more neutral, peaceful timeline, if you will. That's why I say we're not warriors in the sense of being warriors. We're warriors of peace, because rather than reacting, we choose to be calm. We choose peace. We choose harmony. And so I hope that makes sense for you, Clara. That's about the easiest way I can really say that's how you can notice, if you will, that you're collapsing timelines. And it's also helpful to view it in the sense that it really doesn't matter the frequency, the timeline, the paradigm, or the dimension. It's just the matter of that moment where the experience is. Rather than worrying so much, well, what timeline am I in? Or, what dimension am I in? Or can you tell me what frequency I'm at? None of that really matters. Truly, that's just the human mind. It's really helpful to understand love is very simple. It's a human mind that has to get down to the minute details. And that's why it's so necessary to clear those minute details. Because it's only the human thought process that will sit there and keep you in that cycle of what if, or coulda, shoulda, woulda, or why, how, when, where, what. And really, that's what you're clearing out, because you're becoming superhumans. The more you activate these 12-strand helix, if you will, in each one of your chakra centers, the 7 in your form and the 5 above your form, or out of your form, if you will. And the more you fuse those into one cable, if you will, you're going to find that the more you can allow yourself to be present in the moment, in the experience, right here, right now, you're going to access more light information, which is going to bring in even more information from your library and from the living library of Earth. And when you can allow the boundaries to go, and not just the boundaries of beliefs in what you've been taught, yada, 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 but when you can allow the boundaries of dimensions, of frequency, of paradigms, of parallel universes, if you will, you allow yourself to expand without your thought process having to know, well, I want to know certain colors in each one of those helix strands, and I want to know how it combines, and then combines here, and then combines here. You don't need to know that, really. That's just the human mind. And when you focus on that stuff rather than just feeling the light encoded filaments and what it's activating in you, you miss a lot of information, if you will. That's why, like, So much of humanity has gotten caught up on their cell phones, if you will. And how often do you sit there when you're out to dinner at a restaurant and you're on your phone and only half listening to the people that you're with, having dinner with, or even your families? How often are you so distracted that you're multitasking, trying to listen to this conversation, type this text on the phone, and cook dinner? And you're allowing yourself to miss a whole lot of information. And because every experience is an opportunity, is full of information, if you allow yourself to be present with it. That text message can hold off. That message and messenger can hold off if you're talking to somebody. But the human mind has been enslaved to go, 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 go. It needs more information, more information, more information. But the information it needs is coming from the wrong source. The source that you need it to come from is in here, and in here those light encoded filaments that are coming in can only be accessed and anchored if you're in the present moment now, paying attention and being present in the experience of right now, instead of trying to have 10 experiences intermingle at once. And when you do that, that's where you come into the confusion. That is where you feel like everything is falling apart. And because you're not allowing yourself to be in the present moment. You're not allowing the new to come in, if you will, because you're still so scattered on everything in the outside world instead of being present right here, right now. You're trying to multitask. And so that is the necessity of quieting your mind and really being present in the experience, good, bad, or indifferent. Let the labels go. You will find what you label as a bad experience is full of so much light encoded filament information that is trying to present to you, but you're too focused on what the physical presents, and that's why you have to allow yourself to detach the human adult, if you will, step back and allow yourself to be present with what is being presented and be in that moment and not be distracted, because that is where the information is coming in for you. All darkness, when you can allow the labels and the manipulation of reptilians, Anunnakis, Cabal, Illuminati, Archons, yada yada yada, when you can allow the labels to go, the identification of what the human mind perceives those people to be, if you will, when you can let those and really allow and trust in the true identification of who and what you are, which is in your heart, you will find when you can take the darkness out and look at it as lack of light, which is lack of information. It's all darkness is, lack of information, because all light is information. And allow that information to come in, you will not only anchor it in, but you will expand yourself in many, many ways. You will allow yourself to become the superhuman, the sovereign divine being that you are. You will allow the new motherboard, if you will, to fully integrate. And by allowing that, you're allowing new earth to manifest in the physical. You're allowing those new experiences of glory, of bliss, of abundance, everything else to manifest. It is when you allow yourself to be distracted from the present moment that you are keeping yourself in the wheel of karma, if you will. Because it is only in that neutral space of peace where the absolute truth of anything can come to you and be activated through you from the light encoded filaments that are coming in. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of all this chaos and turbulence that's going on, because your heart is opened in chaos and in turbulence and devastation. And that's where the most information for each of you are coming in right now. And if you can look beyond the surface, you really truly can find the divinity, the sovereignty, the glory in the magic and the beauty of what is occurring in the physical, if you will. I hope that helped. Good morning, Fader. Good morning, you sweethearts. I love you. Rose, I have allowed people to let people make me feel as though I am less because I am not fully awake no more. I am perfect. And you've always been perfect, beautiful. And, you know, it's also really helpful to understand that your journey has been a journey to learn to live with what humanity labels as bad, as the reptilians and yada yada yada, the dark. And it is for you to live amongst them because the Creator has no judgment. The Creator sees no evil, hears no evil, speaks no evil. And Earth is what you all refer to as a free will planet. Earth is a planet of all things and all beings. And your journey, and why your journey has been in a journey of authority and decision-making authority, if you will, of taking it back, is so you could learn to be present with what you have labeled dark, reptilian, Illuminati, archons, yada yada yada. To be present and to be able to live side by side, hand in hand without judging them. And there's malevolent and benevolent in everything, including you. And your journey has been one to accept the malevolent and the darkness within yourself and love it back to love. And by doing so, you have allowed yourself, you allow yourself in the process, because we're all in the process of allowing yourself to be accepting and to live amongst what you label bad, good, bad, dark, Illuminati, cabal, yada yada yada. And that is where forgiveness comes in. And the more you rise in frequency and the more you transform that, and the more you allow these light-encoded filaments to anchor in and rise in frequency, you will find, that's why so many of us say those bad things that you see as molestation, as pedophilia, as corruption, as racism, as prejudiceism, all those things are a frequency and will fall away. The more you allow yourself to transform those beliefs and those energetic behavior patterns within yourself. And the more you activate the 12 strands of DNA within you, it activates different 12-strand helixes in each one of your chakras above and below. And above and below, I said that backwards. I did that backwards. And they're all just information centers. And that's why you find yourself sometimes going up and coming down, because your journey has been one to ascend your soul and to descend your spirit, to anchor your spirit, your light body, the formless, into form. And so your body is going through, and again, you know, you can look at your skin and see your skin getting lighter. You can see your eyes getting lighter. And you can also witness, depending on how high your frequency is, and what puts those in lower frequencies into fear when this is being presented, that there are soulless beings that walk this earth. And those are the ones that people talk about, their eyes are completely black. They're, you know, the colored part of their eyes are completely black. And again, this is a planet where all beings are allowed. It's a total free will planet. And you will find that is what so many people call discernment. And really, it's decision-making authority, because you learn to master your energy and your experiences. And the higher you go, the more is revealed. And that's where you will see the higher frequency you rise to, the more light you take into your body and anchor into your physical vessel, if you will. Your skin gets thinner, your eyes get lighter, and you will see some, their skin will get tougher, if you will, or more scaly, if you will, calloused, if you will, and their eyes will get darker. because all is revealed the higher in frequency you go to. Is that for you to fear them? Absolutely not. It is for you to allow yourself to be accepting and to allow all beings on this planet, which is a free will planet, to live in harmony next to each other regardless of their choices. And that's why we are warriors and pillars of light and peace and love. It is not for us to judge in any way, shape, or form, because Creator does not see evil. Creator does not hear evil. Creator does not speak evil. Creator does not see skin color. Creator does not participate in racism, in prejudice, in any way, whether that's skin color, whether that is judgment against each other, judgment against your children, your family members for the choices they make, judgments for your government, for your religions. It is for us to allow ourselves to be in harmony, to be in unity, to be in peace with all things and all beings. To love. God is love, and love is. God is, love is, life is. All life is the miracle of love in expression. It is God, Creator, in a unique individual expression through each of your vessels. I love you too, sweetheart. I love all of you guys. And so, life is the miracle. You are the miracle because you are the living word of the Creator in form, in expressive form, if you will. And as you allow yourself to become accepting of all experiences, all beings, and learn to love life in all its forms, regardless of what you label good, bad, indifferent, light, dark, gray, regardless of that, you're allowing yourself to become the superhuman that you truly are. You're allowing yourself to return home, if you will. Because home can only be found through your heart, the light in your heart. And the more you love that light, which is the light encoded filaments humanity is being bathed in, which is all it is information. When you allow yourself to love what those light encoded filaments have activated, the information they have activated, but first, in order to fully get that information, you have to love the lack of information and forgive the lack of information, or your darkness, if you will, back to that light. You have to forgive yourself for the lack of information and the reactions and the actions and the choices that you made from not having the full light information, if you will. And that's where guilt and shame and blame come in, because the lack of light information that, or darkness that surface, the more you integrate the new light encoded filaments that are coming in, if you will, those experiences that come up, the darkness, the hurts, the wounds, the memories, when they come up and present themselves to you, that is why it is necessary of forgiveness and acceptance and allowance to feel those emotions, if you will. Because all it is being presented through experiences is the darkness, which is just lack of light information. And so, as you allow these selves, and that may help many of you get through some of these experiences that are being presented, if you will, if you can allow yourself to understand that the darkness or the bad or whatever you want to label it, the evil, truly is just lack of information that you didn't have at the time. And so it's coming up to present itself to you, for you to forgive yourself for making choices, reacting, creating memories that aren't so pleasant, whether this lifetime or prior lifetimes. And it's just lack of information, and that's okay that you went through it and you made. That's why there should be, and I don't care to use the word should, but that is where you will find that there was no wrong choices. There is no mistakes. And you should not have any regrets. As long as you regret anything in any of your experiences or your past lives or even this lifetime, how many of you have gone through and sat there and said, God, if I could go back in time and make a different decision, why go back in time when it presents itself to you in every given moment right now, and you can choose to make that different decision that you didn't make back then? That's how the past is presenting itself, is right now. It just has a different face on it, or a different scenery, if you will. It's the same story, just presented in a different way. So why would you want to go back to the past and change what you deem or label a mistake or a wrong choice or a bad choice when you have that opportunity to do it right here in the present now? When it's presenting itself to you through your triggers, through you being triggered. That's where you change the past. That's where you allow yourself to forgive yourself for making that wrong choice. If I could go back and change it, I would. Well, then do it. You want to change it, then do it. But change it right here, right now, when it's presenting itself to you. You don't need to go back and change the scene. That scene's already passed. It's now still presenting itself in a different way, a new story, if you will, giving you the opportunity to what you label is a past mistake or a regret or something that you did wrong. No, it presents itself right now. So you don't need to go back and change it. You just need to observe it right now, how it is being presented right now, and change it right now. And when you do that, you allow yourself to go back and change it, if you will. You allow yourself to erase that bad choice, if you will, to clear that off of your motherboard, if you will. And when you do that, you allow yourself to step more into the power of the superhuman, sovereign, divine, multidimensional being that you are. And that's really a beautiful thing. So it's okay that you are experiencing and going through what you're going through, because you have asked the universe, I want to go back and change that. So the universe asks and you shall receive. And so you are being given. How many times do you sit there in your meditations or throughout your day or in your prayers and say and put your intentions out there for a peaceful, happy, harmonious earth and a peaceful, happy, harmonious, abundant life? Ask and you shall you receive. But to get to that peaceful, harmonious, unified, abundant life, you have to be willing to do what you have also asked for. Allow me to go back and change my mistakes. Allow me to go back. If I wish I could go back and change that decision. Well, you're being given that opportunity in every experience you are experiencing right now, whether it is the devastation outside, or whether it is the hurt and the pain and the anger that is arising through and being triggered through your experiences, whether that's with your lover, your children, your co-workers, a seemingly stranger, Trump, HARP, CERN, whatever it may be. You're giving that opportunity right now to forgive it. You're given that opportunity to change that mistake that you made in the past that you wish you could have gone back and changed. The only difference is the energy is the same. It's just being presented in a different way, in a new scenery, if you will, with new faces. And that is the glory of the moment and being present in the moment now. Because you are being given the opportunity to change that which your mind has convinced you was a mistake, a regret, or a wrong choice. Because in all reality, there is no wrong choice. It's just evolution of your soul. You chose to experience it, whether that is good, bad, or indifferent. And the more you allow yourself to be accepting of all others, and especially yourself, and those so-called mistakes and wrong choices, you will find That is how you manifest the peace, harmony, unified, selfless service, glory of heavenly paradise. And by accepting it within you that there was no wrong choices or anything else, you're allowing yourself to be accepting of all choices of all other beings, regardless. Because the Creator sees no evil, hears no evil, and speaks no evil. And you are the living word of the Creator. And your journey is to allow yourself to see no evil, hear no evil, be no evil, and speak no evil. Because that is your true nature. And the higher in frequency you evolve to, the more you just allow everybody's soul choices regardless. You don't need to agree or disagree. You just allow, accept, and become aware. And that is how you choose what experiences when you get to that creator status, from transforming all of those beliefs and stuff within you. That is where you become the true master of the co-creator that you are as the living word of the Creator in a unique individual expression. It's not that you are gods, plural. It is that you are a creator. There is only one. And we are all fragments of that one, a unique expression. So it is not that you are gods or goddesses. You just are. And what you are is. And that is peace through love. I love you, sweet ones. Have a magical, magical, magical day. And embrace all that you are. That which is the magic of love. A super divine sovereign being that sees the glory in all things and all beings and recognizes them for the divine sovereign love that they are. Big, big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. Have a beautiful Thursday. Bye-bye now.